Shalom. First and foremost, above all things, I want to give all praises and honor and glory that's definitely due to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushua, Ba'Shem, Rakak, Radash. I want to give a special double honors to our elders and apostles on down at Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And peace and salutations to the elect. May the blessing of election be upon your household, on you sincere brothers and you few sisters out there that listen and take heed to the true doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahushua as spoken by his servants, the prophets. To you, I want to say Shalom, back again with another video. I guess you could say this video would be various topics. And what prompted me to do this video, I was looking through my social media and saw Jake, and he's got this crown on his head, and he's got this, what I assume to be his wife or woman sitting next to him, and he's talking, and she's talking as well, and let's get a scripture about that, because the thing about it, when you're doing this ministry was for the men. It wasn't for the women. Yet this man has his woman speaking as well. And I've seen this too early on when I first started learning this truth and knowledge, how a friend at the time, had told me, being that I was an Israelite, whatever, he was sending me various videos, and one of the videos he sent me was this guy Yahoo and his wife Deborah. And what I noticed, she was doing most of the talking. She did more talking than her husband Yahoo was doing, And so I knew right off the beat in the spirit that something was off about that, even though I couldn't really back it up with scriptures or anything at that time, because I wasn't on that level yet. But, as you get more seasoned, you can prove it through the scriptures. The scriptures say prove all things. And so now, I'm in a position to be able to prove these things. But even then, I knew something wasn't right about that. It wasn't something that was supposed to be done. But anyway, moving on. Let's go to it. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. Let your woman keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. So the woman is supposed to be silent in the churches. She's not supposed to be, talking and giving her opinion or giving precepts from the scriptures and things of that nature. That's going off, man. This truth and knowledge is for the men to, that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has taught, that he has chosen to speak on. Let's get this one right quick. This one came to mind, right? And this is something that we use all the time. And it's a very, very valuable scripture. Let's go to Amos. Amos chapter 3 and verse verse 7. Surely the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai thy God, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And when you talk about a prophet is a man, not a woman. Now you do have the word prophetess, but that doesn't mean that she prophesies. That means that she's married to a man that is a prophet. You know, that doesn't mean that she goes and prophesies and speaks. You know, that's the job of a man. When you have a woman doing all these different things like that, that's out of order, man. You know, but this is the society that we live in, to where, you know, women are entitled, and you have Esau who's over this rulership. You know, he lost the woman. He you know, we live in a world here in America that promotes the Queen of Heaven's spirit. So actually, they idolize a woman. They feel like a woman has no limits. But see, when you come into the understanding of the scriptures, you understand that, you know, there has to be order, man. And the Lord is all about order. And see, Esau, he's not about order. He's all about disorder. And so that's why you have women who rule over men. You know, this is why the scripture come into play, Jeremiah chapter 31 and 22, where a woman shall compass a man, because that's the way that Esau has set it up. And, you know, on a higher spiritual level, you know that it was Yahweh Shem Yahushai that put the spirit on this devil to do it, just to show you what happens when a woman is put over a man, how things become disorderly, and how it makes sense to follow the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and 40, let all things be done decently and in order. Yeah. And so when you have a woman, you know, outranking a man, and this is, and you know, we talked about this last night in camp, you know, and it's very frustrating. You know, here you are, the Lord has blessed you with this knowledge, and you come into it, and you get seasoned, you know, and when you become somewhat seasoned, and, you know, of course not always on a whole level, but, you know, you continue to learn, you continue to grow. You see why Yahweh Shem Yahushai has to destroy this place. You know, because knowledge increases sorrow. Because the more you understand how out of order this place is, the more and more you want this place destroyed, man. You know, and every day that we have to be here, the Lord is showing us why this place has to be destroyed. Because when you first come in, you know, you kind of, as they say, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and you know, you just feel like the words that you have been taught is going to convince all these other Israelites, and they're going to wake up just like you. Well, if the Lord wanted to wake up the whole nation of Israel, he was quite capable of doing that without, you know, any interference from that, you know, from you. You know what I mean? And this really kind of goes out to those who are in that spirit right now. I'm not trying to discourage you, you know, it's a beautiful spirit to have, but at the same time, understand that this truth is not for everyone. You know what I mean? Not all of Israel is going to get it. You know, even we understand that during the time of Noah. We understand that during the time of reading the scriptures during the time of Moses, when he was the leader over the Israelites. You know, you had those who followed, you know, Yahweh Shem Shai and Moses, you know, didn't oppose the lead of Moses. And then you had those who opposed Moses' leadership, which that would go be talking about Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. You know, those men, you know, they opposed. Then you got the time with Yahweh Shai, when Yahweh Shai was on the earth, and you had Israelites that didn't accept Yahweh Shai. You know, so you know that's there's no new thing under the sun. And so in this modern time that we're living in, you're going to have those who oppose this truth and knowledge, and you have to understand that, you know. So maybe that'll open you up to understand, hey, don't cast out your pearls unto swine, man. Be mindful of who you're talking to, you know, because not everyone is for this truth and knowledge, man. Matter of fact, you have more Israelites who are opposed to it than they are for it. But getting back to the point about the woman, because like I say, that kind of was on my spirit to do it, because like I say, I saw it on social media and I was like, oh my goodness, man, what is going on? You got Jake over here with a crown on his head. They look like they're in the kitchen and he's talking. And another thing he said, that they were gonna go out and feed the hungry or to feed the homeless, what have you. You know, Lord willing, if I can think of it, I'm gonna come up with a scripture for that too. You know, because you know, at the end of the day, man, we're not here to go out and feed the nation of Israel, feed the homeless, feed the hungry, all that. No, we're out here to preach this word. For those that can hear, let them have ears to hear, which when you go into hearing, that means having understanding, because you have those who hear it, but they don't accept it or they don't understand it. It's just like being in school. When you was in school, there may have been a course and a certain topic that you was learning about, you never really grasped the understanding of it. You heard it, but you didn't understand it. Well, it's the same thing with this truth and knowledge. You have those who do hear it, you know, whether it be on video or whether you're passing by, you know, on the highways and the hedges, you know, but hearing it and understanding it, you know, are two different things, you know. But getting back to the point, 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Yeah, and that's what she should have been doing. She should have been in silence, you know, instead of her saying, you know, throwing her little tidbits in here and there, which, you know, he was the main speaker, but at the same time she was saying she should have been silent, been in complete silence when her husband was teaching. And just period, anytime the word is going out, even when we're out there on the highways and the hedges, a woman, if she knows anything about the scriptures, is to keep silence. Then when it comes time for you know, a brother may speak to her and say something to her, you know, afterwards, maybe ask her a question or what have you. But that's it, man. She shouldn't be trying to usurp authority. I remember a while back, maybe about a year ago, maybe close to 2 years ago. We were out with the elders at GMS Dallas, and this woman come up trying to put me in the mind of Erykah Badu, because she had this bath towel over her head, right? Which her hair was covered, or what little she had, or what have you, or didn't have, what have you. But anyway, inside joke. But anyway, she, walked by, and the brothers were talking about women, and the elders were talking about Pacific women, not all women. And this woman, she got mad and just started going off, which all of it was in this, all of it was just was just wicked for her to just open her damn mouth and start talking, y'all shouldn't be talking about women and this, that, and the other. And the brother, politely told her, he said, look, we're not talking about all women. We love, and for the most part, we love women, and we love women, especially women that are in order, and it was apparent that she was not in order, and she tried to disrupt, the elders when they were, speaking, which was very disrespectful, because you're interrupting the word, man. The scriptures clearly tell you, when you come to the house of the Lord, that you not open your damn mouth. Let me see if I can get there. I think it's in Ecclesiastes, I think, if I remember. Let's see, Lord willing, I'll pick it up. Here we go, right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Yeah, and that's exactly what she was. She was a fool. The scriptures clearly tell you about a fool, which is a woman. And let's get that right quick. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 13. And we're not talking about all women, but there are a lot of women out there that need to be called out. And this is why we do this, because it's a part of the teaching that come from the scriptures. The scriptures say, we don't want to shun or basically hide none of the truth. We want to bring all the truth out, man. That's the spirit that Apostle Paul came in, and that's the spirit we want to be in. Lord willing, I get there right quick. Proverbs chapter 9 and 13. A foolish woman is clamorous; she is simple and knoweth nothing. Yeah, and the old saying, Salaki, I can't even think of it right now, having brain fog, but a foolish woman is clamorous; she is simple and knoweth nothing. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. These women, they've been given that liberty to be able to open their mouth, or feel free to open their mouth anytime they want to, not realizing when you're amongst the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. But see, these women, they don't want to do that, because in this world of Esau, he's gave them that liberty to be able to speak, not realizing or understanding the scriptures. And they'll swear up and down, I know the scriptures. I know, you can't tell me nothing about the scriptures. And on, which, you know, it's obvious that they don't, because when you see men of Yahweh Shem Shai talking, you know, you're to keep silent, man. You hear the prophets talking, be quiet. Be more, as the scriptures say, be more willing to listen than to give a sacrifice of fools. And that's what that woman did. She gave a sacrifice of fools, man. You know. You know what? I think that'll about do it. I could do more, but I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out, and Lord willing, I'll do another one about this guy that was this guy that earlier that I was talking about him talking about going out and feeding the hungry or whatever, because it's kind of basically another topic. So I'll just make these into a, you know, maybe a 2-part series or what have you. But Lord willing, I hope and pray that this is edifying. Once again, I want to give all praises and honor and glory that's definitely due to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rakak Wadash. Till the next time, Lord willing, I'll say Shalom.